Hey guys, welcome back. This is going to be my 31 days of Halloween recap. I was meaning to do this video for a while. I actually wanted to do it really close. Actually, I wanted to do this on the 1st, but I got a little bit lazy, I guess, and also I wanted a little bit of a break because I was doing a video, every single day for every single review. And then on the 3rd, I had a concert that I went to. I went to the Forever Dead and Dirty tour in Cleveland. I saw Blaze, Boondocks, and A La Zululu. You can see the little shirt I got up there. I bought that at the show. But I'll be doing kind of a recap and kind of like haul video for that tour because I will probably be the person who's been to that show the most because I'm going to Cleveland. I'm going to be going to the Dayton show on the 23rd, I think. And then I'm going to be going to the last show on the tour in Columbus on the 26th. So I'm going to have a pretty good impression of that show. So that recap will be coming. But for the 31 days of Halloween, I've always done wrap-ups. Usually I've written them. But, this year I did all the, recorded every single review. And, usually in these, I kind of go down what movies I thought were really good and some of the little things that I didn't tell you during. I saw a couple extra movies here and there and, the other little things that I did. I guess let's start with the bad. That way we'll work our way up. This year I did a really good job, actually, of picking out movies that were good. There were only a couple movies that I saw that I didn't really like, and there was only really one movie that I thought was really bad, and that was The Furies. I really, really did not like that movie, and it's weird because I'll go to Shudder, which is where you can see it at, and it's got 4 stars, and everybody's kind of raving about it, but with Shudder, I think their reviews aren't very indicative of the quality of the film, just because it's one of those things where people are like, 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars, instead of actually reviewing it and actually giving it it's all right, a 3, whatever. It's one of those things where people are like, oh, it was okay, 5 stars. So I'd take reviews on Shudder with a grain of salt. You can say that with almost all reviews until you find someone that you actually trust and your opinions match up, because maybe my opinions don't match up with yours, it's probably not a smart thing for me to say that, but, it is what it is. Besides The Furies is probably the worst movie I watched. House of the Witch wasn't very good. It was a sci-fi movie. That said, it wasn't terrible. Blood and Donuts was just boring. It was one of the hardest movies for me to watch just because it was so boring. I think I had other tabs open and was looking at other stuff. It was just really kind of not a whole lot going on. And then Exeter was just really weird. It was just on the bad end. It was probably the least offensive movie out of those bad movies that I watched. It just was really strange, Marcus Nispel is kind of, his style was all over it, but it was, I don't know, kind of weird. And then some of the, kind of good movies, but movies that I didn't feel like were my best was Haunt. Everybody's raving about that movie, produced by Eli Roth. I would highly suggest checking it out. It just, for me, it wasn't blew me out of my socks, Wax Mask that I saw, it was kind of like a lost Lucio Fulci, Dario Argento type film that I never heard of until Shudder picked it up, and then I was like, well, Argento's involved, Fulci was involved, it was just, I was like, I gotta see this. And Absurd was pretty good too. That was probably in the lower end of the really good movies that the good movies that I saw. It was just kind of crazy, special effects kills. I liked it quite a bit. Skinner is probably in there somewhere too. I didn't put that one down on my, I didn't write it down on my notes, but that was another one that was pretty crazy. That would probably be on the lower end of what I would say is good. But it was still worth a watch just because Ted Raimi kills it in that movie. He goes absolutely ballistic. And if you like kind of Texas Chainsaw kind of thing, like Ed Gein inspired things, Skinner should definitely be on your list. And as far as the good movies, that like the really good movies that I would really suggest go, Gags the Clown was really good. It was actually one of my better performing reviews that I did. And it's pretty cool. Like, I really liked that movie. It was pretty good. Hellfest was a really big surprise with Tony Todd. It was like a throwback 90s slasher that I really enjoyed. Sorority Row was kind of like that too, the Sorority Row remake. I had problems probably with all of these movies. Little stuff, it wasn't, really bad, egregious, but I think they're worth watching. Something I forgot to mention in my Gags the Clown video is a lot of these kind of like found footage movies that use footage from somebody taking, they have these really, and a lot of movies do this, but it's a pet peeve of mine, is when they show like the little tracking lines or like a little skip in the video footage, and it's like, that doesn't happen anymore. Like with phone cameras and everything like that kind of stuff doesn't happen with that kind of footage anymore. And so it's just kind of like a way for them to kind of be like, this is this kind of footage, it's kind of like I don't know, a way of telling you that that's the kind of footage that you're seeing. I don't think it's needed, but it is what it is. Eli was probably my favorite movie I watched. It's not the best movie that I watched, but it was a real surprise because it was just, I think it's like a Netflix original. It's definitely on Netflix. And I wasn't expecting really much out of it at all. It actually came as a recommendation, and that's the only reason why I watched it. But, like, it blew me out of the water, really, just because I wasn't expecting it. Maybe I shouldn't be hyping it up as much as I am, but, like, for my low expectations, it blew me out of the water. And I really enjoyed that one. Like I said, it's probably my favorite movie that I watched over the whole 31 days of Halloween, other than a couple obvious ones I'll mention later. Necronomicon was a huge surprise. Necronomicon Book of the Dead was a huge surprise for me. I'd never heard of it before, and the special effects were amazing. I love anthologies, and this is kind of an anthology. I love Lovecraft. This is a Lovecraftian anthology, so it all just worked for me really well. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Midnight Man was actually pretty good. The special effects were cool. The story is actually kind of cool. It's clear that it was made on kind of a lower budget just because they, use one location. And I think that was good for the movie because they used this one location and they put a lot of their money into the special effects, which I think is a good tip for, indie filmmakers out there. Don't spend too much on the other stuff. Spend it on your special effects and you'll find an audience for sure. Next would be Body Bags. I mean, this is kind of a John Carpenter, I wouldn't want to say classic, but it's another anthology. I love anthologies. And Body Bags is, I think it's an early 90s, just really good work. And then I really liked Burial Ground. This was another one that this is one of the movies that I'd bought and then hadn't watched for, months. I think it was over a year. I hadn't seen it yet, and it really impressed me too. I really enjoyed that one. So yeah, those were the kind of bad to good of all the films I watched. There's a lot of stuff that's in the middle and kind of a little bit good, a little bit bad, but those were the ones I felt like stuck out the most to me. I did do that little bit where I kind of watched a lot of Funhouse style horror movies. Hellfest, Bloodfest. The Funhouse Massacre, which was another one that was pretty good. And, let's see, I know there's another one on that list that I watched, but I kind of went on that little bit of a streak there because I always kind of love those types of films. I went to 2 concerts. I did the VIP for the Wicked Weekends, ICP. It was amazing. I was like first row, second row. It was absolutely insane. And then on the 26th, I went and saw Twisted for the Every Day is Halloween tour. It was another, awesome show, meeting those guys. The first time I'd seen them was back in, 99? I went to the In-Store Asylum tour, where they built an insane asylum inside the record store. And them and ICP were wearing straight jackets, and they came in like a white van, and they had like guards who were like dragging them into the record store, and I was like 15, 16, and it was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen. So it was really cool to actually see them again, you know, going all the way back then, you know, 20 plus years. It was crazy. But yeah, you know, and I managed to make every day. Some of my videos came out later than I wanted, especially when I went to that Twisted show, because that review came out really late that night, because I went to the show. I had to go to the show early because it was all the way out in Dayton, which is like 2.5 hours from where I live. And so I had to, you know, I had to drive all the way out there, and then the show was over at like, you know, midnight, 11 o'clock, I don't remember. And so I had to drive another 2.5 hours back. I think I watched the movie that night, and I did the review that night, and then uploaded it. So, and edited the video and threw it up. Yeah, I mean, you know, editing the videos this year was actually probably the biggest thing, because like I could sit down and turn my webcam on and record these pretty quickly, but putting in all the editing work and rendering and then uploading onto YouTube, like the video editing and the rendering on YouTube, it's almost 3 hours to do all that work. So, you know, this is definitely a much bigger endeavor than writing my reviews had ever been. And I knew that going in, because I've been doing my stuff on my other channel, The Dark Future, and, you know, rendering videos for that channel is, you know, the same way, especially with my longer, like the interview I did with Mike Pondsmith took forever, and it's only like a half hour, and it took like 3 hours just to render that video, and then another like, you know, 3 hours to upload it. So yeah, you know, the YouTuber struggles, I'm definitely feeling that with all that content that I'm putting up over there too. Yeah, you know, other than those, the only other things that I did was I watched Nightmare Cinema, because that showed up on Shudder one night. I think I had the day off from work, and so I was like, oh, I'll just watch another one. I was going to do a review for that movie too, but, you know, like I was just saying about, you know, editing stuff and everything else, it's just I wasn't in the mood to do another review that day. Maybe I'll do one, but probably not. I don't think it warrants a review. I mean, mini review, it's not bad. It's an anthology, and sometimes with anthologies, if there's one or two bad stories or stories that aren't so good, it kind of brings down the good ones. I kind of felt like that was the situation with Nightmare Cinema. Mickey Rourke is really weird in that movie. And then, you know, of course, the movie you've always got to watch during that season, John Carpenter's Halloween. I watched that Halloween night by candlelight, actually. It was cool. And what I realized by watching Halloween that night is that I should do it sooner in the season, because, like, I enjoyed the Halloween season a lot, but a lot of times, sometimes during that, throughout October, I always feel like something's missing. And I think what was missing is that really Halloween-y movie. And Halloween always brings that. The movie Halloween always brings that. And so I think next year I'm going to watch Halloween a lot sooner than what I did this year. Maybe to kick off the season, you know. Maybe October 1st next year I'll watch John Carpenter's Halloween. Probably won't review it for the 31 Days of Halloween, just because it's, you know, everybody and their mom has reviewed Halloween. But I think I'll kick it off next season with that. So I think that's pretty much everything with the 31 Days of Halloween recap. It was, you know, another really good year. You know, 31 Days of Halloween 2019 in the bag. You know, I'm going to do it next year probably, depending on the kind of work that I do. Like, I hadn't done it the previous maybe 2 years, I think, just because of work, especially last year. Work was really crazy last year. So next year, as long as work allows, I'll do it again. On this channel, I've still got a couple different video ideas. I already told you I'm going to do the Forever Dead and Dirty tour, kind of recap and haul. And then I will also be doing a Creep Show TV show review. I'm going to go over each episode, so that could be a long review. This is probably getting a little bit long too, so I'll just end it here. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed all the reviews. You know, there's going to be like, 33 reviews. I got a playlist in case you missed all of it, so you can check that out. And thank you for watching, and I will see you guys soon.